Hello, you're very welcome to this edition of AFI Weekly on the Under Centre podcast. Darragh here with you as always, joined by Alex and Rian. Two of us are doing fine. One of us is doing a little better than the rest of us. I think that is, of course, Mr. Alex Sims. We already see the medal. I heard you
Absolutely.
had a little surprise for us for the start of the show as well.
Oh, we got a little special guest here as well, I've
Look
been
at it.
entrusted with this for one night only. I've been entrusted with this, especially in a house with two kids. You can never be too careful.
That's good. Well, look, first of all, before we get into the game, congratulations on a fantastic
Appreciate it.
win. Officially now the bride, no longer the bridesmaid.
God,
You be playing Premier Division football next year. I guess it's taking the game out of it, because we'll obviously go into depth in that. How was the day overall for you? How did you find the experience of playing the final in Athlone and the pre and post game sort of stuff?
yeah, I mean it was great. Having been in attendance last year, watching the games, it looked like a great venue to play in, and I think it lived up to the expectations. The pitch was pristine. The arriving at the ground and sort of walking the pitch and getting those pre-match nerves and everything else to the trophy presentation afterwards. It was. Perfect venue, perfect day. Of course, it is perfect when you win. I know you were on the other end of it last year, and the likes of Westmeath and UCD yesterday will be feeling probably a bit different about it. But I feel everything lived up to my expectations anyway.
Yeah, perfect. I'm glad. A little message straight away from Jason Duddy. It was so hard giving. Yeah, well, look, from what I've heard, you almost didn't get the trophy on Saturday. You
Jason did a
almost would
great
have had to settle. Yeah,
Jason did a great job on the PA on the day as well. So fair play to him for making giving that little extra magic to the occasion as well with his great
yeah,
PA work, and of course to you and Max and the other commentators on the day as well. All did a great job, and we do enough slagging of them, to be fair, but fair play to the AFI. The whole event and day was great. Like it really well run. The production quality of the streams is great. I've watched back both the Harp and Shamrock Bowl and a little bit of the Claddagh Bowl as well. Just great production all around, and it was a great day.
yeah. It was, and yeah, a shout out to, of course, Coach John Romo, or John Romanowski, as some people would know him, who was in charge of sort of the live stream aspect of the day. And thank you to him very much for reaching out and asking if I'd be interested in doing it. It's the next to playing in it, it was probably the next best thing you could have done on the day, is being able to contribute on the live stream and commentate. And look, I was just a little side piece on this at the end. Like, Max was a Trojan, and I'm sure he doesn't like being called a Trojan today, especially with his UCD connections. But he was fantastic. All three games he commentated for. The amount of work he put into it, just for, because we were back and forth the week before talking about the Harp Bowl, but and he was putting a lot of work into that, and so he was tripling that sort of effort for all three games. He was absolutely fantastic. Hats off to him. Great job by Coach Romo on the Shamrock Bowl, and to John McChrystal as well, who was co-coms on the Claddagh Bowl as well. So, and Jason just beat me to it there. Big shout out to Bill as well, who set up the whole day in general. Trying to prepare for a final and trying to set up finals day as well was probably no easy task for Bill. So, fantastic work from him as well. And it's fast becoming the home of finals day, and rightly so. Rain, I don't know, you haven't had a chance to go out to Dubai Park yet, have you?
I haven't, and unless they change the days, I don't think I'm going to be getting out there very often. It is the weekend of my wedding anniversary, so I can't foresee myself being there in the near future, unless, of course, I make it there next year. Depending on my return to football, we'll see about that.
Well, the way it's going here, I was in the bowl final last year. Alex was in it this year, so you kind of have to be in it now.
Yeah, rite of passage. Rite of passage.
Been going, yeah, because I can't get Fionn back playing football. I'm trying my best here. You're so he's too busy playing that GAA life now. Yeah, so you're gonna have to make the ball next year, buddy. I'm sorry, it's already predetermined. I've talked to the AFI script writers, so you're already doing that next year.
I can't complain about that.
Yeah.
I haven't won a game in 8 years or something like that, so that would be nice.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna have to change for sure. Definitely gonna have to change. Yeah, look, listen, we're gonna get into the games and we'll talk about each one. You know, it was very one-sided both games in the end, but there were intricacies of both games that could have made it a little different if this happened or that happened. We'll get into that, but we have to start tonight's show with kind of a somber note. And yesterday we were told of the tragic passing of Ian Humes. Of course, Ian passed after suffering a heart attack while on holiday with his wife. It's a terrible loss for the AFI community. Ian's love and passion for American football and in wanting to showcase it in his photography shone through in every photo he took. Each one of us benefited from Ian's generosity over the years, shooting Rhinos games, Mavericks games, Panthers games for Fionn, and even the odd Pirate game as well. On a personal level, despite only meeting him a couple of times, he was always very, very nice and easy to talk to. He was also extremely generous with allowing the show to use his photos for our social media posts and graphics, and we'll always be extremely thankful for that. So we're going to dedicate tonight's show to Ian. Thank you for everything he's done for American football in Ireland. Of course, our thoughts and prayer with his wife Hazel, his friends, family, and of course everyone involved with the Trojans as well, because he had a close affinity with them, and he was actually their official club photographer from last season on. So it's two wide ranging emotions, obviously with the highs of winning and obviously the lows of the passing of Ian. So rest in peace to Ian Humes, and me. It was a shock. It was, it's not something that we knew anything of. Obviously, now that it's the Trojans have told us that he actually suffered it last week, and his wife Hazel actually didn't want to tell anybody before the Shamrock Bowl final because they didn't want to distract from the big day of the Trojans, which is, with everything that she would have gone through in the last few weeks or so, to still think of the team, and that is extraordinary. Even seeing the outpouring of tributes these last 24 or 48 hours to Ian from all the teams in the AFI, but not just all the teams, but players and sports outside of that, obviously all involved up north too. It just shows how far or how much he touched everyone involved in sort of sport in Ireland in general.
Yeah, I think the outpouring of tributes and grief that can be seen from across the league, and as you mentioned, from other sports as well, and just it's a real testament to the kind of man Ian was, and I think it'll be a massive hole on game days, specifically for the Trojans game days especially, but for a lot of game days, because he put in the effort, he put in the miles traveling up and down the country to take photos of I'd say he probably took photos of every team across his career. I remember him taking photos back from when I was a rookie, being on the sideline, and you'd always go, and if you spotted him at the game straight after, later on that Sunday evening or the following Monday, you'd be going to his page on Facebook and checking out the photos, sharing them into the group and everything. So a massive loss to the league, and may he rest in peace.
Yeah, I was actually only on his website there this afternoon having a look, and he actually was there. Kind of the first time, Alex, we played against each other, not probably knowing who each other was at the time, when the Mavericks played the Rhinos in Louth during their Division 2 season. And that's sort of it's crazy that he was a part of it there for that, and obviously where we've come from. And you know. Yeah, like you said, it's still kind of hard to get your head around because you would automatically just assume, like you're saying, on a Monday or a Tuesday or even maybe a Sunday if he was out on the Saturday, that he, you just seeing him there, like taking pictures, making sure he's there 1 or 2 games a week. And I think I can't remember who said. I think it was Chris McGee, so I'll give him a shout out for that on this. But like that, like he put so much effort into trying to showcase people and their hobbies. Was just he put others before him in that sense. He wanted to show the greatness of others people playing this sport that they love in terms of it's whether American football, he shot rugby, basketball, any other sports as well. It just shows that how how much he loved sport in general.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you see from any of the other photographers' tributes to him, he was also a great mentor. That like he had been doing it and taking photos of American football for so long. When new photographers would come down, he'd recognize them. He'd be over to them with a chat and sort of they talk. I know Paul McElwain and Charisse both mentioned this in their tributes that that was the kind of person he was, sort of not thinking of other photographers as competition, just thinking like, oh, haven't seen him around before, haven't seen her around before, gonna have a chat with them, talk about American football, and he was that open. He'd have a chat with anyone and anything. So yeah, really, really devastating loss.
Yeah. Reen, I don't know if your audio issues are fixed, but do you have anything to add yourself there before we move on?
Not a whole lot, to be honest. He's covered it very, very well. I never actually met him personally, but I think my profile picture on Facebook for a long, long time was a picture that he took. So yeah, he's been an incredible photographer for the league for so many years, and yeah, he'll be greatly missed.
Yeah. Is that you trying to? Is that not trying? Is that you throwing the football, giving deuces as well at the same time?
I think that might be the one. All right, yeah.
I think that was actually also against the Mavericks as well. I think it was that game too. So, yeah. So look, listen, he will be sorely missed. Thank you, Ian, for everything that you've done for American football in Ireland. We will forever appreciate it, never forget it. And like I said at the start, may you rest in peace. And our thoughts with the family and friends at this time. It's kind of hard to move on and talk about football after that, but we'll try our best to. We'll go in order of when the games kicked off and we'll look back at them. So we'll start with the Heart Bowl. Loud Mavericks 44, the Crusaders, not Crusaders, the Minotaurs 0. Sorry. Scoring wise, Ty Henry had 2 passing touchdowns, broke to Brandon Poland. Finn O'Donovan had a rushing touchdown to go with his MVP performance. Ty also contributed with 3 rushing touchdowns of his own. Nathan Harty had 2 interceptions inside the 2-minute warning before halftime as well, which were crucial in terms of helping the Mavs stretch away from the Minotaurs and sort of, help them on their way to get that victory. But Alex, the scoreline makes it look like it was a comfortable day, but especially in the first quarter and the good chunks of that second quarter, especially the Minotaurs defense were giving the Mavericks a lot of issues.
Definitely, I think both teams were definitely probably suffering from a bit of nerves or the occasion weighing on them. I think both teams within their first drive had fumbled snaps. There was a lot of laundry on the field for penalties. The teams were committing false starts, holding, stuff like that. So yeah, I think it was really evident to see that it was a big occasion and it was a massively important game. And yeah, look, I think ultimately probably Ty's experience of being in this moment helped him sort of settle our offense probably sooner than Westmeath could get a handle on it. And that led to us being up a few scores before the Westmeath got a bit more of a handle on it, and then our defense, like we played lights out as well as we have done all season, to go up against the Minotaurs and kind of shut them down as they were starting to build a bit of momentum and getting some first downs. But yeah, I mean, overall, it was a massively tough game. Like, don't let the 44-0 scoreline mislead you. Like, I'm still in pain from the game. Like, it was a hard hitting game. There was certainly no sense of, oh, this is easy at any point. We just all sort of maintained our focus, had to work hard and doing our jobs, and I think we performed to the best of our abilities. And I think, given the talent that the squad has, when we perform to the best of our abilities, we can put up scorelines like that. And we've done it consistently, and yeah, I'm just really glad we were able to do it again and put on a show that we know we were capable of, and that the rest of the league got to see on the day as well. Because sometimes down Division 1, even when you're winning these big games, I think you can sort of get a bit overlooked. But again, with the stream going out internationally, and the people there in the league on the day, I think they could see that the Mavericks are a really good football team.
Yeah, Rian, the Mavericks have been scoring points and not conceding points all year. They've been winning games like a canter. And there was so much sort of backing and expectation heading into this game, and sometimes that can be too heavy of a weight to carry going into a game. But if for the Mavs case in this, despite the slow start and the few errors that Alex says, they still were able to get through that game. Obviously, it would have been a thing that coaches stress throughout the week. Is it's just another game, lads? Just another game. We play the same thing. We beat these guys before already. So, credit goes to the coach and staff for that too. But like I said, when you have that weight of expectation, it can, crumble you sometimes. But the Mavs made sure on Saturday that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I think one of the best ways of dealing with that kind of weight of expectation is to be well drilled. And credit to Ty, it seems like he's brought that kind of energy to the team. Not saying that the Mavs weren't well drilled beforehand, but it seems like a well-oiled machine at this point, and that's the best way to get over those kind of jitters, nerves, and weight of expectations. So I'd say whoever is nobody in AFI, or sorry, beg your pardon, nobody in the SBC is looking forward to seeing that Mavericks team on the team sheet first week of the year. Whoever draws that straw is probably not going to be a happy bunny.
Are they going to be a happy bunny, Alex?
Look, we'll be happy bunnies to be up there for sure. It's been a long few years since we've played some SBC football, so we're all really excited to start that journey.
Yeah, and like I said, it was 8-0 at the end of the first quarter, 30-0 at halftime. But it was we'll go back to those two crucial interceptions from Nathan Harty. Inside the 2-minute warning,
back-to-back defensive snaps.
Scoring from both of those turnovers as well really put them in the ascendancy. And whereas it was probably you don't want to admit it, but maybe in your eyes thinking, look, listen, this game is done, would have been an absolute crunching, sort of heartbreaking, backbreaking, whatever adjective you want to use for the Minotaurs and their sort of quest to try and get back into the game.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right there. It was a very close game up until that point, with our offense kind of able to move the football, but not to the lengths that we had done in the regular season. And then, as you said, that the back-to-back picks and then being able to convert those into touchdowns, it probably did put the game beyond reach for the Minotaurs. But from a defensive point of view, to be honest, it didn't change anything for us. We didn't want to let the Minotaurs score. We wanted to keep that shutout. We wanted to prove that we are a defense to be feared, and that when we do go up to the SBC, we're not just we're not a Division 1 defense. We're worthy of being called an SBC defense. So I think we did show that on the day.
Yeah. And Rian, I mentioned it sort of in my key things to watch ahead of the game on Saturday, and it was the fact that for the Minotaurs to have the best success and the best chance to beat the Mavericks would have been to control the clock and control the time of possession. And to do that, they would have had to run the ball well, and they would have, and had to pass it well when they needed to. Trying to do that with being down your star running back in Rafa Montero for the first half was always going to be a tall task. But do you think maybe if Rafa was there from the start and if that was deployed, you maybe think something different could have gone on in that first half? Maybe it would have been a little closer for a little longer. I don't know.
I'd like to say, for the sake of intrigue, that it would have made a difference, but in this league, it's always next man up. You're always going to be without players. I'm sure the Mavericks were missing players as well due to injury, etc. So I would like to say that yes, it would be a closer game, but at the end of the day, I think the best team won on the day, and certainly the deserving team over the course of the season won on the day. So yeah, look, it was a. Maybe not a foregone conclusion, but certainly there was a lot pointing in favor of the Mavericks, whether or not Rafa was playing in this one.
Yeah. Anything else to add before we move on then?
Alex, I will say a shout out to Niall Corcoran, who was deputising at running back for Rafa in the first half. Defensive lineman by trade, just playing running back. He did something that I dare say Rafa wouldn't have been able to do in the very first defensive snap he had, where he sent me absolutely arse over tit with a cut block that just like I was flipping more than that plane was in that pre-game flyover.
I remember the one that you're talking about for sure. Do I still have the link here? Because I know you sent a clip of it. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna find it.
Absolutely, but yeah. He ran the ball fairly well anyway as well in that first half, and then when Rafa did come on, he certainly, there was a change of pace, and it took us a while to adjust to it, the different running styles, but we did manage to get on top of it. But he ripped off a couple of first downs, so it could have made a difference. I'd obviously say that we would have still kept them scoreless, but it's a hypothetical thing that we'll never truly know. So here we go.
I have it. Here it is. Play
here we go. Boom.
Watch that again. Here we go. I was going to say, no wonder you are still sore after that.
Yeah.
That's tough. But look, listen, fair play to you. Fantastic weekend for you personally, I'm sure. I'm hoping you are back sober now. I'm sure there was plenty of harps to be taken in the harp bowl, with the harp bowl.
So much harp drinking out of that harp bowl. I think it holds exactly 3 pints, that trophy, not the glass one that I've shown here now. The sort of the keepsake one that you get, the trophy style one. They filled it up at the bar and counted, exactly 3 points. They were pouring it straight from the tap for us, to be fair as well. So shout out our sponsors at the Bayview Tavern there. They treated us like the champions on Saturday night. We had a great night, but yeah. I had to be sober, Dara. I had to wake up in the morning, look after the kids.
Of course. So congratulations again to the Mavs. Premier Division football next year. I'm sure the plan has already started for that. Let's move on then to the Claddagh Bowl. The South Dublin Panthers are back-to-back Claddagh Bowl champions after beating the Belfast Trojans 7-2 in a very tight and tense final on Saturday in Dewberry Park. The Panthers were 7-0 up in the Trojans came back to make it 7-2 with a safety. It looked like the Trojans were maybe in place to possibly score the go-ahead touchdown to win it. But again, I think it's a kind of a team of the day in most games. Laundry on the field caused a lot of stoppages and maybe halts to momentum. And unfortunately, the Trojans were not able to score to take home their first Clara Bowl. Alex, obviously you have a vested interest with the Mavs, who were playing in the quarterfinals earlier on in the day and then the semifinals after that. But a tight win for the Panthers to get their second Clara Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, this was a bit of a defensive battle, like a really, really tight contest. Anytime there's one touchdown scored in a game, you kind of know it was going to be a real slogfest there. Look, credit to the Panthers. They're a really good side. They know how to get the wins, and they know how to play the game and get every advantage out of the game they can. There was some controversy even on their touchdown. There is there has been shouts from the Trojans that it might have been a pick play, which is like it's called shielding and flag, but there was a route where the defender kind of got stopped by another wide receiver running a route, and that allowed the Panthers player to just sort of waltz into the end zone. But again, these sort of things, sometimes they get called, sometimes they don't. The Trojans unfortunately had a touchdown on their own chalked off as well. They could have, seen them win the game with that safety as well. Although the safety, I will say that the safety the Trojans got toward the end of the game was just because the Panthers were trying to run the clock out. Now, it was a great play by the blitzer, but I think probably wouldn't have happened if the score was level at 7 each. But again, a really good game. Probably disappointing not to see like the high-paced offense that we had seen in some of the earlier games. Like the Trojans beat UCD 32-21 in the semi-final there. That was a cracking game, high scoring. And the Panthers themselves have put up 33 against the Mavs, so the Mavs 6. So there was certainly plenty of scoring going on in the Ladies' Flag that day. It just didn't happen to be in the Clara Bowl at all. They'd used up all their touchdowns earlier in the day. But yeah, great event to have. Great for them to play, in front of such a big crowd. And yeah, I think it was an exciting game, even though it was low scoring. As I said, there was always that. It was close. It was the closest bowl game of the day, and that definitely brought some intrigue from the fans.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and both sides were well supported as well, both the Panthers and the Trojans. So, look, it was a fantastic occasion to have, to bring in the Clara Bowl as part of the bowl finals day. Hopefully that continues going into the following years too. Congratulations to the Panthers, commiserations to the Trojans. No doubt these two will be doing battle again very soon for more championships along the way, because both sides are probably definitely the best two in Ireland at the moment. But I'm sure Alex Mavs are going to have something to say about that in the very near future.
Yeah, it was great. As I said, it was great having the bowl on the day. I will say again that I don't think the rest of the playoffs should have been on the same day. There was between locker room allocation between the 7 teams that were playing on the day, that meant teams were kind of being turfed out at different points, and it was kind of if you lose, you got to go home. So I think there's some organizational improvements can be making, but I think it was great to have the Clara Bowl on as part of the triple header.
Yeah, you're only upset because you got kicked out of your dressing room early.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to have a harp. I was trying to have a harp in the shower. Quickly and kicking me out. Tell me UCD are moving
in. All right, let's then move on to the main event of the evening. That was, of course, Shamrock Bowl 37. I'm very bad at Roman numerals. 37. Yes.
Sounds right.
I'm going to be told them wrong. I'm going to be told I'm wrong at some point, but I'm going to go with 37 at the moment. The Belfast Trojans win their 6th Shamrock Bowl. They beat UCD 27 points to 0. A result that I think maybe some, you know, the Trojans had a lot of backing, and rightly so. They're undefeated this year. Maybe the score line was the biggest surprise of the game. On the Trojan side of things, you know, Rayshon Boswell continued his MVP season, possibly, with 3 rushing touchdowns on the day. Later on in the fourth quarter, Adam McElwee, contributed a rushing touchdown of his own. Like I mentioned, UCD finished 2-0. The Trojans, you know, like we mentioned, similar to yourself, Alex, went through the whole season unbeaten, beating teams a lot at a counter too. You know, they beat this UCD team earlier on in the season as well, coming down to Dublin to do so. You know, but in a final, you know, things always change, and especially UCD in a final, you know, we didn't know what we were. They were sure that they were going to get the hardest game that they were going to get all season, and rightly so they did. UCD's defense did keep them in it for a lot of times, but the Trojans' defense as well should be getting a huge shout out in this. They gave UCD no space at all in the running game. They had almost every receiver covered. It seemed like it was almost 2 guys on every receiver every play. And that's how well that the defense played. And, you know, all comes together for a fantastic win for the Trojans to end what has been a fantastic season.
Yeah, I think I mentioned with Fionn last week that the 2 key battles would be the trenches, the Belfast D line against the UCD's offensive line, and also Belfast secondary against the UCD wide receivers. And I think we can comprehensively say that the Trojans won both of those battles, and it was absolutely the determining factor in the game. I think this one was similar to the start of the Harp Bowl, in that both teams were clearly a bit nervy. There was a couple of miscues on both sides early on, a lot of penalties again early on that kind of got tidied up as it went along. UCD had the turning point of the game was UCD had a drive where they were got to 4th and goal at the Trojans, I want to say 3-yard line, I think, and then there was a false start to put them back to the 8, and they weren't able to convert that, and that was the closest they'd get until garbage time at the end, where they almost scored again, but were similarly kept out by the Trojans. So yeah, their defense was imperious all day. They did really well shutting down. I mean, Tom Donovan was very quiet, which, like, has he been the MVP of the last 2 Shamrock Bowls? They shut him down.
Don't know
maybe
if it's the
not
last
both.
2, but he has had 2 MVPs in Shamrock Bowls.
He's he's always the one you got to watch out for, and they clearly had a game plan for him, because he did not get much joy at all. As you say, the running game was unable to produce much. I think Sean Douglas got a couple of good returns and a couple of receptions as well. He might have been the only man that had any sort of joy against the Trojans, and it wasn't a whole lot either. And then, of course, offensively for the Trojans, I mean, they did really well. I mean, all praise will go to Rayshon, and he, rightly so. He's an incredible player. He made some great dynamic bursts. 2 of his touchdowns were long bursts, just kind of out of nowhere plays, and they are ultimately what put the Trojans over the edge. But also, Dom Lynn was dealing in, from the QB position back there. He was making great throws that were just connecting perfectly with the likes of James Ferris and James Lynn as well. Or is it Michael Ferris? Never mind. But he was connecting really well with his receivers. The offense seemed to click again after some early jitters in that first quarter, and probably about the first half of the second quarter. The offense just really clicked. Were able to get yards without too much problem, and then Rayshon would break one eventually, and they'd get in the end zone. So yeah, just a dominant performance by the Trojans. Really amazing to see UCD shut out. I think me and Fionn both picked the Trojans to win, but don't think any of us saw this sort of margin.
No. And Rian, I got you on this. Do you put much stock into the fact that it was a shutout victory, especially in a final? Maybe, obviously, UCD are going to think that they disappointed themselves in the game, that they didn't live up to their own expectations. But it's something that we've mentioned previous times on the show, and I think I thought maybe that the previous game against the Trojans was the wake up call that they needed, because maybe there was a bit of lethargy, or they were just coasting, maybe not coasting, not on purpose, but maybe a little subconsciously, that they thought obviously that they were a shoe in for a bowl. And when a lot of people are saying that, it's kind of hard not to feed into it.
Yeah, I think you're pretty right there that maybe they did get a wake up call earlier in the season with that loss to the Trojans, which surprised me even more, that they went down to Athlone on Saturday and laid an egg in terms of their offensive production. I think on the flip side of that, though, I would imagine the Trojans had the same goal as Alex had going into his game. On that defensive side of the ball, they would have been looking to pitch a shutout in that one. Purely because I think they've been a little bit overlooked this season in terms of their defense. All of the commentary has been about how potent their offense has been, but their defense have put up really, really great performances all year round, and they've put that little cherry on top of the cake with the shutout in the bowl game. So all credit to that Trojans defense.
To Rian's point there, to show that the Trojans did definitely really want that shutout in the fourth quarter, as UCD started to put some drives together and pick up some first downs. When they got into the red zone, the Trojans defensive starters promptly got put back on the field. They did not want to give up a touchdown at all, and they held firm as well. So fair play to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, and that's also setting a marker for next year as well for this team too, because they are going to be the team that shut UCD down in the final going into next year. They're the defending champions. They are the new team with the target on their back. But also on the UCD side of things, if it wasn't the appropriate wake up call when they lost to the Trojans earlier on in the year, by God, this one is going to be some wake up call for this team going into next season.
Yeah, certainly will. I think I hope this is the kick that they need to kind of spark a really great rivalry between these two teams. I think coming into this season, we were all a little bit disappointed that the Rebels had experienced the mass exodus, and we were maybe not going to get to see.
Well, hold on. I don't think all of us were disappointed.
Okay, well, in terms of the rivalry at the top of the table, I think all of us predicted at the start of the year that UCD were going to stroll to a bowl and win it by a landslide. The fact that the Trojans have put it up to them now and have really displayed themselves as the best team in Ireland this year, I hope that lights a fire under UCD, and I hope it lights a fire under a few other teams, that we get to see these exciting finals. Because it's something that we missed this year in terms of two shutouts, and hopefully we get a cracking season next season.
Absolutely. And look, the last time UCD were in a Shamrock Bowl that they lost, they came back the next year and won it. So they're going to be thinking we're going to do the same thing again next year. And then like that, I'm sure the planning's already started for next year with that too. I guess, is there anything else we want to add on any of the three games before we wrap this up?
No, I think that's
no. I think that's well covered. And look, not even just these last three games, but these last 3 months, 4 months. It's flown in. Another AFI season is in the books. It's been eventful, to say the least. It's been fantastic, though. I want to take a moment, first of all, to thank my two co-hosts and Fiona as well here, Alex and Rian. Thank you so much for all the great coverage this year. Especially, trying to cover every aspect of the league while trying to focus on, your own team and stuff like that, or focus on our own sort of stuff. It asks a lot, and I'm really appreciative. I have a great team with you guys here for this. Thank you to everybody that listened or that has been interacting with the socials, or that has, helped us with sending score updates, or has helped us with the odd bit of, bylaw information that maybe we're not up to date on, or, telling me that the table is wrong, because there's plenty of people that love to tell me the table is wrong. Look, I'd love to put you all at 8 wins and 0 losses, but I can't do it. I'm sorry. But I think it's been our best year so far. It just means that next year is going to have to be even better. So, Alex, I don't care if you're in the Premier Division next year. You're going to have to you can't rest on your laurels now, okay? You're going to have to keep it going. I need you actually now are our Premier Division correspondent, unofficially / officially now. So
I believe I'll have a shock collar in case I say anything wrong on the podcast. Like a zap from Ty somewhere.
I guess you don't need running backs to have a reason wanting to run straight into you now.
Yeah.
So, like I said, guys, thank you so much for everything this season. We are going to take a little bit of a break from the weekly podcasts. We're obviously going to make that transition now over in the next couple of weeks to talk NFL stuff. Looking forward to the NFL season. We hope you'll stick with us for that. If not, we look forward to having you back for the AFI season next year. As always, make sure you follow us on the socials at UnderCenterPod on Instagram and Twitter, TikTok, all of those great places. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like the video. If you haven't already, also please subscribe. The next big thing to look forward to in Ireland is the gift games and the college games. I guess we'll definitely be looking ahead to them. And then after that, obviously, of course, it's the big one, NFL, Crow Park, Steelers, Vikings. We'll be looking forward to that as well. That will obviously be part of our NFL coverage. But yeah, lads, I think I've talked enough now for this part. I think we're just going to wrap it up. Alex, congratulations again. Give us one more shot at the hardball there before we go.
Thank you very much, Dara, and thank you for the great job you've done as host this year. We wouldn't really be here without you. Like, let's be honest, Ryan. There's no way we'd be here doing this, doing that man's job. So fair play to you for putting in a serious amount of work every week for the whole season. So we definitely really appreciate it.
No problem. As a gift next season, if you can give me that hardball, I'll be very happy with that.
I'd love nothing more.
Right, that is it for this edition of the show.
Shout out Rain Rocks as well.
Oh, of course. Sorry. Thank you. See, this is why I have to have you around for this. Yes, thank you. Times 1,000 to Rain Rocks Web Design for this season. They've been fantastic sponsors for the AFI season and all of our shows. They are the team behind UCP.ie. They were absolutely fantastic to deal with. They still are fantastic to deal with. Dom's probably going to be even better now to deal with after winning the Heartball too. So now's the time if you want to get your own website done. Now's the time to get him. He might be in a generous mood, but
use code HARP10 for 10% off.
Don't you're gonna get us in trouble here now. But so thank you to them for UCP.ie. Thank you for them for sponsoring us for this AFI season. We really appreciate all the help that they've done. So without further ado, that's it. AFI season done. NFL season upcoming. Alex, I'll let you have the last word with the Heartball before I wrap it up.
All right. On the Mavs, and here's to the SBC next year. Peace out.